algorithms and mathematics and computer science and all this stuff and genetics have the same disadvantages as well, though. They don't adapt very fast. Evolution takes place over millions of years. And contrary to some people's beliefs, there's not, I dream of Jeannie, it doesn't just appear out of thin air, a couple thousand years ago, and sorry, that does not generally how it is accepted to work. It's inefficient. As you'll notice, I'm creating an enormous variety of creatures here while I'm playing with this little toy that I wrote. Enormous variety of creatures created, many are killed. Very wasteful. It's a bigger problem if you're an animal and, somebody eats you. That's generally considered, that's not gone well, so to speak. And in computers and mathematics, it's the same problem. You run through enormous amount of iterations, takes a lot of computational power, takes a lot of time, it's slow. You don't sit down and go, I'm going to write the next Dragon Naturally Speaking. It has to be grown. I don't know if they actually do use genetic algorithms or not. It would be an ideal example solution. It also may miss corner cases. For instance, in the evolution of a human being, human beings have evolved over millions and millions of years from monkeys and simpler primates than that, and probably even birds far back. I'm not sure since I'm not a biologist. It may miss corner cases. For instance, if you go back 250 million years, not even that far, maybe 20 million years, humans are small primates, 10 million years, whatever, I don't know how long we go back to pre-caveman days, early caveman days. You transport a human being now, even without their education, technology, etc., just the biological human being back then, he's going to be far more adapted. That large prefrontal cerebral cortex that we've developed over millions of years of evolution is an enormous decisive advantage. Would have been an enormous decisive advantage back then too. But small corner cases like that, they don't always happen. And in some cases they do, such as the evolution of prevention of malaria and the genetics of some people in the area of sub-Saharan Africa. Malaria is a significant problem, so they've evolved sickle cell. Of course, that's also a maladaptation. Everything's roughly a maladaptation or an adaptation, more of a perspective, so to speak. It depends on the environment. So, now that I've explained the rough examples of these in the 18 minutes or whatever it's taken, I'm sure you can notice what I'm doing right now. This here works on the same method as a standard genetic genome system. The parents, each of these representative creatures, so to speak, has a chromosome which is created from a string. Sorry, not a string. A series, an array of strings. These are just numbers. This is your chromosome. The chromosome would be like 10142296 or something like that, which would be similar to the GTMC or whatever chromosomal patterns that you would find in a real chromosome, DNA double helix. Each of these little holographic blobs is a representation of one of these chromosomes. The chromosome controls the model, the offset of the blob from the last blob in the series, the color of the blob, and the angle of the blob. So, as one of them is killed, the little red ball moves over the one that I kill, and then it spawns 3 more critters. The other 2 recombine their DNA, and you get the aggregate average of these. As you may have noticed, they gradually would trend towards certain patterns based off of what I killed off. Generally make it stabilize over time. There's also a small chance, and you'll notice this too, of mutation. There's 3 forms of mutation available in this particular example. There's the expansion mutation, where it gains another little blob, like little marshmallows or something. There's the contraction, where it'll delete one. And there's a mutation wherein one of the existing blobs will twist, turn, be recreated. It's recreated out of random seed. So we have this low chance of mutation and these persistent genetics, and you'll notice that as my preferences and what I just feel like looking at this moment change, and I kill off things that don't look like what I want, it generally follows. You notice this degree of self-stabilization. It is evolving and adapting to my very much unnatural selection. I'm the one driving Darwin's murder truck. That's my way to put it. The one killing off the ones I don't like. I am the natural selection. They must adapt to suit my needs. I am their environment. And in the same way, you'll notice that real organisms have the same thing. They gotta fit a certain mold, so to speak. Yeah, there's an example there. That one with the longer strains of DNA or organs that was out there. It was longer. I killed it off, and it didn't get to pass on its genes. It was not well suited for survival. But yeah, it's recombining the DNA, adding a small chance of mutation, and demonstrating the raw chromosome is actually displayed in these those little organisms, these blobs. There was a distinct mutation there. It twisted and reformed one of them. Let's say I like that mutation. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to kill off one of the other two. And the recombination, there's a 50-50 chance it'll keep that mutation. It might get overwritten, it might not. Yeah, it got overwritten. But we got another cool mutation here. So let's kill off one of those other two again, see if it... There we go, now we notice these two now look very similar. That gene has been passed on to change that shape by whatever that node root was at that point. Each of these is like a chain, string, so to speak. Organs, they're twisting, almost like very basic multicellular organisms. I'll kill off the outlier, and now they're all starting to resemble that shape. And that's about how evolution seems to work. I can't make these things extinct, unlike, and this is also common in most computer science, and software, and whatever, your genetic algorithms, your mathematics and such. I don't have the ability to extinct them. They all would attempt to reproduce were they given the chance. Well, at least in theory, I've hard-coded them not to. But they all want to reproduce like a real creature would. This is one of Darwin's 3 tenets. They are being selected. They're competing with their environment. For my favor, actually. They're competing with their environments. It's constant competition over limited resources, a limited amount of them that can live. And the others die. So they would reproduce exponentially, but they are competing for resources, and therefore their population remains static. And this is also how most algorithms work. They will compete to solve a problem or to solve multiple problems, usually to solve multiple problems which require conflicting solutions. And the successful ones will be merged together. Oh, see, there's a mutation. I'm gonna... the successful ones will be selected and merged, and the unsuccessful ones will be abandoned and deleted. The same as a creature which does not reproduce, such as one of my cats, the fat one. He's never reproduced. He's fixed. His genetic line has ended. He is not well suited for life on this planet. He's also a lazy cat. Does not do anything. I'm fairly sure that he's a stuffed animal for that matter. The other one, very excited, intelligent, went into heat very early, escaped the house because he was brilliant in terms of cat. He was well suited for life on this planet. His genetics will continue. Yeah, I did not exactly intend for that, but we certainly were responsible pet owners. Can't really do much if the cat lets himself out. And I have watched him unlock others. So he's well adapted to life on this planet. He's a very smart animal. Smart animals tend to be well adapted to life on this planet. Strong animals tend to be well adapted to life on this planet. But they're always going to be going after, just like these, these solutions, they're always going to be going after a rough approximation of what's the best at the moment. They can't look forward. You can't, they cannot evolve to, for instance, what my changing desires will be in this example. So that generally covers pretty much everything you would need to know about genetic algorithms. A rough overview showing how they relate with biology, how biology and this computery concept is one and the same, and how it has a similar solution to a similar problem. I find the biology behind it to be particularly interesting, and adapting it to computers and software is a great way of sort of taking a cue from this natural system. And I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, I will put this code as being openly available on the internet. This is written in something called Expression 2, which is a scripting language for Gary's mod, source engine modification, which is kind of like a sandbox. I used this just because this is what I'm probably fastest in, and I'm probably going to put a link to my YouTube as well. And I'll mail you the PowerPoint since I just could not get the darn thing to record. So this is the only way I could do it. I really wanted to do the PowerPoint and make it look a little more pretty and then shift into this, but I guess this works out. It's not ideal, but it works. And it certainly gets the point across. So, thank you for your time.